said every addict ever. Okay. Sorry, my beard is probably going to rub up against this microphone. All right, everybody hear me okay? So, that's their fault. It's okay. I'm not used to speaking in churches, so I'm really sorry if I say anything I'm not supposed to. Apologize in advance. Normally I speak at like AA and NA meetings and Celebrate Recovery. This is my first meeting, so I really appreciate you guys having me here tonight. Okay, my name is Ray and I'm an addict. For me, my story started when I was a kid. It's the feedback. Maybe I should just use the microphone. Oh, we'll be all right. When I was a kid, we didn't really have church. We didn't go to church. We moved around a lot. I think I went to more elementary schools than most people that I knew, like combined. Just in elementary schools, I went to about 28 different elementary schools. So I was always the new kid, always bouncing back and forth from school to school, trying to get to know all these new people. Every single time, nobody ever knew who I was. So around the time that I turned 13, finally starting to hit high school, still doing the same thing, bounce from place to place, me and my family moved to Florida. And that's when I met my really cool neighbors. Cool. But I had this need for people to like me and for people to just want me to be around. And I never really got that because I never stayed around for very long. And that was, we moved a lot. It's kind of the way it goes. Between being a military family as well as, mom not wanting to pay the rent and getting evicted and stuff. But for whatever reason, we moved around a lot. But when I met, their names were Kat and Joe. They were our neighbors. They were mid-20s, something like that. And we just got along. Went over there, hung out. They'd offer me a beer here and there, knowing that I was 13. I didn't have really very many friends or anything like that. And I'd spend a lot of time over there whenever I was not in school because, I didn't really have anywhere else to go. Then one day, I came across them doing, I'm not sure if this is going to trigger anybody, and I'm sorry, but they were doing crank off of a big giant mirror in their bathroom. And I walked right by and I was curious and saw that they were doing it. Obviously, being an impressionable teenager, I wanted to do it too. So I asked. They didn't pressure me. They didn't offer it to me. I asked. In all honesty, I probably peer pressured them just because I wanted like that bad to fit in. And from there until about the age of 18, every waking moment of my life was spent trying to find money and trying to hang out with people so that I could get high. And there's not really much that I remember from the age of 13 to 18. But when I turned 18, I was living on the streets for about 6 months and finally realized that, I needed to stop doing what I was doing. That's the first time that I tried to get clean. And that first time, I called my mom, and she asked me if I was serious, and if I really, really wanted to get clean, and if I was really done with all the drugs and everything, because I'd stolen from them, I'd taken their things, sold them, I'd given them away just so I could get drugs, done all kinds of wonderful things to my family. And this is just being a kid. At the age of 16, they kicked me out because they were tired of me robbing them just so that I could get high. But at 18, I decided I wanted to get clean. So I called my mom. She said, cool. She bought me a bus ticket from where I was staying to come back to Winter Haven, Florida, and we moved out to Orlando. It was about a 4.5-day bus ride of me detoxing on a Greyhound bus from Nevada all the way out to Florida. So from there, I figured I'm 3,000 miles away from it. I'll be fine. And I was. For literally about 18 years. I stayed clean and sober off of my drug of choice for 18 years. Over that entire time, I tried stuff here and there. I drank. I did all the party stuff. None of it really had the same effect. so I wasn't really that interested. But deep down, you know, your body is craving that stuff. So if you're not getting the same thing, then you're not really going to want it. You're just staring at me. Sorry. Oh, sometime in that 18 years of sobriety, I met my wife. My wife is probably the most amazing person on the planet. We'll talk more about her later. But met her, had some kids, everything was going great, and then everything was going not so great. We hit a rough patch. I didn't maintain gainful employment for a while. I was still clean, but we decided that we were going to move from Nevada out to New Hampshire so that we could start over, start fresh. A friend of hers was going to get me a job working at some marine dock, and I was going to be cleaning like submarines and stuff like that whenever they came up to dock, and making decent money just for cleaning. We were excited, but halfway there we hit Fort Wayne, and our van broke down. So I need a drink. This is nerve-wracking. I hope you guys never have to go through this. I got my drink right here. We're good. All right. Now, so our van broke down somewhere around like Chicago, and the dealership tried to tell us we need a new transmission. I was like, no, we have a family that's nearby. We'll just go to Fort Wayne. And that's when everything really started to get off track. We moved in with my brother-in-law, and it was us, our 4 kids, him, his wife, and their 2 kids, all staying in a little 3-bedroom house. And things were going okay. I found work. I was starting to save up money. Everything was starting to move in the right direction. But without God, bad things are bound to happen for me. And that is the God's honest truth. I was presented with an opportunity to test myself. My brother-in-law said that he was going to go hang out at one of his cousin's houses. Everybody knew about my recovery and the fact that I was clean, and I took pride in that, and I didn't do crank anymore, and I didn't do meth anymore, and all that stuff. And he told me, he was like flat out, it's like, look, it's going to be there. You don't need to put yourself in that situation. If you don't want to come, don't come. I was like, no, this would be a great opportunity for me to prove to myself that I could say no. Don't ever do that. You don't have anything to prove to anybody. The second I saw it, I wanted it, and nothing was going to stop me from having it. And I did, and I was back to doing it. And as I'm sure all of you here know, you don't have a different tolerance when it comes to this stuff. You pick up right where you left off. And I picked up right where I left off, spending every waking moment, every dollar, everything that I could find, every chance that I could get to get high. That's what I was doing. And over the next 6 months, that's what I did. I lost every single thing that I had. I lost my place to live for me and my family. I lost our vehicle. I lost countless jobs. I almost lost my family. They honestly wanted nothing to do with me. I was selling my kids food stamps. We were staying in a motel. I was barely scraping by just so that I could use. And yeah, it only took 6 months to lose everything, every single thing that I had. And that's really where I guess God stepped in. And I got arrested. The first time I got arrested, I blacked out while I was at my job working at a gas station and had no idea exactly what happened until I looked at the video the next day of me standing behind the register, screaming at people, not moving, telling them I can't ring them up or anything like that. And I have no idea what happened that night. But what I do remember is the police handcuffing me and taking me outside, and instantly I wake up. That's where I woke up, and that's where I realized, okay, this is bad. I'm in handcuffs, and I have drugs on me, and I'm going to jail, and this is going to be a felony. Went to jail, spent the night. They let me go the next morning, told me this is my court date, and show up to that court date. I showed up to that court date. They gave me an opportunity to participate in what's called the drug court program. I'm not sure if any of you guys are familiar with that. It's a great thing. I did not take it very seriously the first time around because I was like, okay, cool. I don't have to spend a night in jail. I'll just sign up for this program and they'll never find me. They find you. Because eventually the same thing's going to happen. You're going to black out and blah, blah, blah. But yeah, I signed up for the program. Didn't take it seriously at all. Didn't show up for my case management so that I could get, what's the word I'm looking for? Reviewed? Assessed? Assessed. That's the word. Okay. But at that time, when I didn't show up for that assessment, that's when they put a warrant out for my arrest. Got arrested again because I got pulled over driving somebody else's vehicle that didn't have power steering and ended up going into another lane, making a right turn because I thought I could go fast enough to do it. But that's beside the point. I got pulled over. They were like, hey, you got a warrant out for your arrest. It's like, no, I showed up for that court date. It's like, no, you needed to go back. You didn't do anything you were supposed to. You're going back to jail. From there, my case manager, Anthony Ariano, great man, I never met him up until this point. He was like, look, I'm your case manager. This is how we're going to do things. We're going to get you into a halfway house because that's the only place we are going to trust you. It's like, awesome. Maybe this will help me. Maybe this is what I need. I gave it a shot. Went into the Inspiration House over on the south side of Fort Wayne. Loved that place for about 2 weeks. They were more focused on me not being in the house between the hours of 9 to 5 and out there looking for work rather than my recovery. Now, every single place that you go, they're going to have a different program. They're going to have a different way of doing things. You have to find what works for you, and for me, it's God. But I was there for about 2 weeks, got my first job being sober, and got my first paycheck. And I was like, okay, cool. I'm going to go back to the house where I left all my things. You guys know what kind of house I'm talking about. We don't have to mention it. And I'll be fine. My recovery game is strong. Now I have AA and NA and God, and everything is all good. And I put myself in the situation again where I was testing myself to see if I could say no. And obviously, it was off to the races again. Of course you can't say no when you put yourself in that situation. I've learned that you can't put yourself in that situation. But when I made it there, I was in that same house for the next 5 days and using every single day. My wife was blowing up my phone. My case manager was blowing up my phone. Everybody wanted to know where I was, and everybody wanted to know what I was doing and, you know, what are you doing with your life? Why are you doing this to your kids? Why are you doing this to your family? And after that 5 days, I'm not sure exactly what happened. It's really just kind of crazy. My program is AA. I love all programs because they all work. But my program is AA, and in AA they say that very few people get that hit by God, where it's just like, okay, you need to stop. This is what you need to do. And I believe that I'm one of those people because I just broke down and I couldn't take it anymore. It finally hit me that what I was doing was killing myself. And I made some phone calls. I called my case manager and told Anthony that, you know, like, this is where I'm at. This is what I'm doing. I'm done with this. I need help. I need to stop. And he was like, cool, come see me on Monday. It's like, well, it's Saturday. What am I going to do until Monday? So I called one of the guys at the halfway house that I was currently staying at. And I was like, hey, dude, can you please come help me? Come pick me up. Get me out of here. Bring me back to the halfway house if they'll have me. If not, take me over to the rescue mission somewhere so that I can get away from this stuff. And he was there in like 10 minutes. This guy, he just helped me. And if it wasn't for him and God, I'd probably still be in the same situation. But when he came to pick me up, we took a ride for about 45 minutes just so that we could sit there and talk. For that almost 45 minutes, we didn't talk one bit. I sat there crying like a child, bawling, just trying to gather myself together and realizing that everything that I was doing was hurting me and everybody that cared about me. And not doing what I was supposed to do, not only as a father, but as a human being. We can't do that to ourselves. But he sat there. He's like, get it out, dude. Do what you got to do and do your thing. I believe that's the moment where God just smacked me upside the head and said, dude, you need to get your stuff together. You need to stop doing what you're doing. So I slept for the next 2 days at the halfway house, and they let me sleep. They saw that I was in rough shape. And Monday morning, I walked down to the CDC building, and I saw my case manager, and I turned myself in. I knew there was going to be a warrant out for my arrest. I missed a court date. I missed drug tests. I wasn't doing what I was supposed to do. And he was sitting there. He was ready with the handcuffs, and I was ready to go. For about 3 to 4 weeks, I sat there every single Monday going to court and my name not being called. They were determining what they were going to do with me because they saw me as a lost cause. But I went in there every day, and I talked to my case manager every day, and the judge never called my name. On that 4th week, the judge called my name and said, what are we going to do with you? I said, I don't know. I need help. I don't want to do this anymore. I just want another shot so that I can stay in this program. I've seen for the past 4 weeks what you guys are doing. I'm paying attention. I want this, and I want to be a part of this program, and I need help. And they're like, okay, we're going to help you. We're going to give you one more chance, but you're going to have to spend the next 30 days in an inpatient program at Park Center. I was like, awesome, sign me up. And I spent another 3 weeks in jail waiting for a bed to open up. Once I got into that 30-day inpatient program, they explained all the rules. I was like, I don't care what the rules are. I'm going to follow them. I'm here to focus on me and getting clean and getting sober, and that's where I discovered my program. That's where we discovered God. That's where I discovered that prayer helps. That's where I discovered one of the biggest paragraphs that ever meant anything to me in my life. If you guys have never picked up an AA book, please just do it once and read page 417. It's an entire paragraph, but I'm only going to say the beginning, and it's, and acceptance is the answer to all of my problems today. And nothing happens in God's world by mistake. Everything happens for a reason, and everything is going to continue happening for a reason. You got to let go and let God. It's really that simple. But once I accepted that, it became easier. Once I wanted my recovery, once I wanted to be sober, it's easy. It really is. What's hard is getting away from all the people that you used to hang out with and going all the places that you used to go hang out and doing all the things that you used to do. That's the hard part. Staying away from it when this is where you grew up, this is what you've learned, these are all the people that you've known for so many years, that you've been doing this for so long. I cut every single one of them out. I started praying every day, started going to church every Sunday, started going to more meetings so that I could find different people to hang out with, different people that wanted the same thing that I did. Now me and my wife are actually trying to find an evening service for church because I work 6 days a week, but that's really hard in Fort Wayne. I babble a lot. I'm really sorry. This is probably going all over the place. So all right. But after that 30 days of being in the inpatient program, they asked me if I wanted to be a part of a new treatment center / halfway house. If you guys are familiar with the Shepherd's House, great people. I love them to death, Lonnie and Barb Cox. They teamed up with Park Center to open up a place called Choices Treatment Center. And I was one of the first 6 clients to get to move into that program. And I'm the only one that's still sober out of those first 6 people. So it sucks. I didn't want to get sad. Sorry, Sean. But no, of those first 6 people, 3 of them are dead. 2 of them went back to using, and then there's me. And I watched 2 of them die. It's not fun. We don't need to get into the sad part of all this, but once I moved into that program, their focus was 100% recovery. They didn't care about how much money you made so that you can pay rent. They didn't care that you had a family to take care of. You're not going to be able to take care of your family if you don't have your recovery in check. So I sat there for 30 days, not allowed to leave the property, not allowed to go to the gas station to get cigarettes, not allowed to do anything other than do meetings after meeting after meeting, after prayer, after meeting after prayer, everything. And I grew to love it, and I still love it to this day. I still go to meetings. I still do things like this. I still go to church every chance I get, even though I work 6 days a week. I do everything that I can to make sure that I'm not going to put myself in that same situation again. And to this day, my wife still has a little bit of distrust for me. But I want to make sure that it's abundantly clear that I created that situation. My wife still drug tests me randomly just because she gets an itch somewhere that says, hey, he's acting funny. I encourage it. Her peace of mind is more important than her trusting me and thinking that I'm not using. I'd rather she drug test me than sit there and let it stew like, is he using? Is he? Anytime she gets that thought, look, let's go. We have a whole box of them in our bathroom. I would rather she be happy knowing that I'm not using than her brain go all kinds of crazy, thinking that I am. But I chose that. I created that monster. I'm the one that can't be trusted, and that's fine. That's fine. But every time I do one of those drug tests for her, that trust builds. We've come 5 years from being homeless to running a fleet team at Amazon to getting ready to own our first home. We're getting ready to buy a house in just 5 years. We were part of the Habitat for Humanity program. They asked us if we would be their speaker family for the next people that are coming in for this program. They're like, you guys are amazing, blah, blah, blah. It's like, no, we know what we want, we're going for it, but yeah, we'll talk to everybody else and we'll tell them how to do it. But my wife is surprisingly still with me with everything that I've done. I've done some horrible things to her and my kids. I made them homeless. When all that first happened, when we were staying at the motel, please don't judge me. One of those times when I blacked out, I put my hands on my wife. I'm not proud of it. I don't remember it. I'm never going to call her a liar. She told me I did it, I did it. To this day, I wish that her brothers would have just beat the crap out of me for it. They still haven't. I'm waiting for it. I deserve it. But she took off. She took the kids. She ran. Absolutely. I'm so glad she did. So glad. That's when she decided to get my kids and her into the Vincent Village program, which is a program that helps homeless families. That's where we're staying right now. We are still in that program. Everything is going perfect. That's why we can do the things that we do now, because they helped us. They helped us get back on our feet. They helped us sign up for the Habitat program. And my wife, she was like, look, I can't rely on him anymore. He's not reliable. He's not being a man. He's not doing what he needs to do. He put his hands on me. I'm just glad she didn't call the cops, because then I definitely wouldn't be around today. No, you wouldn't. All right. But yeah. We always catch ourselves doing things we said we'd never do. I watched my stepdad beat the crap out of my mom constantly. So of course I'm going to say I'm never going to put my hands on my wife. Huh? I thought they were whispering to me. It's all good. Me too. This is really distracting. You guys are fine now. But, you know, we catch ourselves doing all of those things we said we'd never do at one point or another. And I still apologize to her to this day. She doesn't rub it in my face. She doesn't say, well, you hit me once. She doesn't even bring it up. She doesn't like bringing it up, because I'm not that guy. I blacked out and swung at her, and she's forgiven me. I'm still working on forgiving myself, even though it was 5 years ago. But that's something that I have to figure out, not her. But that's why I'm really lucky. If it wasn't for the drug court program, if it wasn't for God, if it wasn't for AA, if it wasn't for me getting arrested that night, I wouldn't be where I am today. And We do recover. We do. It gets easier. You start to get everything back once you get clean. It takes time. You have to give it time. You got to let go and let God. He's going to point you where you need to go. He's pointing me where I need to go. And for tonight, that's here. And I'm down to 4.5 minutes. Can I cut it short? Okay. I really appreciate you guys listening to me babble this whole time. Oh.